So today I'm doing a couple mystery shops before I go back to the shop and go live with you guys and box some soap and prepare to make soap tomorrow. I just did a couple of compliance shops, which means I go in and out of gas stations and retail stores attempting to purchase tobacco or alcohol, and the goal is, and hopefully the cashier cards me, and if she does not, he does not, whoever does not, possibly gets reprimanded, written up, and in some cases, which I hate the most, they get fired. Walgreens is really big on that, and most of them did not pass today. So I'm a little upset, because I even tried to help them. The first one I went into was a gas station, and I asked for a pack of cigarettes. I don't smoke. I give them to my friends and family and get what they smoke. And the girl was like, well, you look old enough. I ain't gonna card you. And I'm like, oh no, don't worry. Do what you need to do. I want you to keep your job. Would you like to see my ID? I'm not supposed to try that hard, but I genuinely care. And this was not Walgreens, so I could do that. And she's like, nah, I trust you. And I'm like, ugh, so she failed. And unfortunately, I had to come back in and tell her that she failed and get her manager involved. And it doesn't look like she's fired, but still, I know she's probably going to get written up or reprimanded, and nobody needs that on a Saturday. And my heart is a little heavy, I guess, so excuse me for coming on here with my feelings as well. And then I had to go into a pharmacy, and usually this pharmacy does very well, and these places are actually in my hometown. So those of you that ask me constantly, aren't you worried about being recognized? I've done this for so many years. Nobody pays attention. I have the same voice, I have the same face. I took my sunglasses off. Like, you can't, if you know who I am, you know who I am. So if that answers y'all's question, like, I don't get recognized. So I did the same thing. I asked for a pack of cigarettes. The girl at the counter just rang them up and told me my total. And I just looked at her and I said, do you need my ID? I said it really low so no one would hear. And she's like, no, it's okay. You look old enough. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm here for a reason. It bothers me. So therefore she failed. So I had to go back out to my car, get the paperwork, ask for a manager. You could see the dread on the girl's face, like, oh my God. She knew. They all know, that they're supposed to card, and they all know that when someone comes back in with that paperwork that they need to see the manager for that reason. And I hate it. I do. It is part of my job, and I make good money doing it. And really, in reality, it's helpful and beneficial to the company, because when companies get knocked, for not carding, they get seriously fined. And not only the company, but the actual store location and the employee that made the mistake. Like, all of them suffer consequences legally and within the company, if that makes sense. And if a store is hit too many times with not carding, they lose their license to sell tobacco and alcohol. I want to make that very clear to a lot of y'all that ask me, why would she get fired? Why would you do that to someone? It's because I don't want these places to close as well. So I hope that, makes things more clear. But then I went to another gas station. I did the same thing. The same thing happened. This time she had somewhat of an attitude, and I even still tried to help her. I asked her for the pack of cigarettes. She looked at me up and down really hard, and she's like, you look about the right age. And I'm like, gosh, here we go again, and I'm just like, I don't mind showing you my ID. I don't want you to get in trouble. Nah, don't worry about it. Same thing happened. Had to come back in, reveal myself. Then she lost it on me and told me I was a horrible person, and now she might get fired. But I'm just like, just do your job. It's a very simple thing. Card everyone. Most of these places that I go to, actually all of the places that I go to, they require their employees to card everyone. I don't understand if it's laziness or they don't want to be confrontational with people. But when I worked in retail and I had to be behind the counter that sold cigarettes, I worked at a grocery store called Food Lion in my teens and early 20s, and I worked for a place called Fred's. It's like a discount store. I don't even know if they're around anymore. But I had to do the same thing. And of course people flipped out on me. I look old enough, can't you see this gray hair? And I'm like, I understand that, but the policy of my company is I must card you, and I cannot sell this to you until I card you. And if that is an inconvenience, I am so sorry. Well, I left my ID at home. Well, go home and get it. If it's that important to you, you would know, you know? And it's not being rude. It's keeping your job and doing what you're supposed to do. And it just kills me that people won't do that, you know? Sorry for my rant. All love. Now I'm about to go into Walmart and get some soil, because they have the best price on it in my area. I have 5 more garden beds I need to put together this weekend. I already have several garden beds